Okay, guys, so now we are starting chapter 3. So, this is the first video for chapter 3, section 3.1. We're going to talk about lines and angles. Okay, so first we're going to talk about parallel and skew lines. So, I'm not sure if you can hear the squeaky toy in the background, but that would be my dog. So, ignore that. Anyway. So, parallel and skew, and it took me probably about 20 minutes to draw this little cube over here to the right, so do the best you can. But first we're going to talk about parallel lines. Well, parallel lines, as you know, never touch. So, in terms of geometry, still lines that never touch, but we just throw in the word that they're coplanar, meaning they're on the same plane. The symbol we use are these little, it looks like the number 11. It's the parallel symbols. Every set of lines is parallel on this picture are in red. So AE, let me get my highlighter here. AE is parallel to BF, and then AD is parallel to BC. Okay, so notice they're on the same plane and they'll never touch. Next, we need to talk about skew line. Skew lines are not parallel. They don't intersect because they're not even on the same plane. So in this case, our skew lines would be AB and CG. There's no special sign for them. We just say those two lines are skew. Okay. And then the third is parallel planes. Okay, just like parallel lines never touch, well, planes also never touch. In this case, our planes are plane ABC, which is ABCD right here at the top, and then EFGH, which is on the bottom. Okay, so picture a cube like your book. Even that top cover of your book and that bottom cover of your book are never going to intersect because they're parallel with each other. Okay, so now we need to go over how these are actually used. So you definitely are going to want to pause the video to copy this example down. But me, I'm just going to move right into it. So, in the figure, assume the lines and planes that appear to be parallel are parallel. Okay, so if you look at my picture, it is not near as pretty as the book, but you get the idea of what should be parallel. So, for letter A, which segments are parallel to AB? Well, first off, we need to identify AB, which is right here. So we want to know which segments could be parallel to that. Okay, well, if we look on the back plane, we could have EF. If we look at the top part, we could have DC. And then lastly, we have HG over here, because I don't know if you can picture this. I'm going to use a different color. You could have a diagonal plane that cuts through that middle. So that's like going from the top left to the bottom right. Okay, that could also happen. So the three segments that are parallel to AB are EF, DC, and HG. So which segments are skew to CD? So that means that they're not in the same plane, so they never intersect. Well, here's CD. So we could have BF over here. Okay, so on different planes, it's not going to touch. We could also have AE. Let's see, EH. And let's see, FG. Okay, notice none of those are on the same plane as this CD, so they'll never touch. Okay, so what are two pairs of parallel lines? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I didn't say lines, I said planes. So, just like your old school textbook, you could have BCD and EFGH. Or you could have the sides over here, DCGH and ABEF. Okay? Or this, I don't have this answer written down in a second, but you could have this front plane and that back plane. Okay, so really you have 3 sets, but I only have down 2 because it only asks for 2. And then the last example, what are 2 segments parallel to plane B, C, E, F? So B, C, E, F. It totally says G, F, not E, F. I was confused on how that plane was happening. Okay, so we're trying to find lines that are parallel to that plane. So let's see, AD over here is never going to intersect with that plane, or you could even have DH right here. Okay, DH is going up and down, but it's still parallel with that plane. I mean, or you could have EH down here or AE over here. Okay, again, I only wrote down 2, and I chose AD and DH. Okay, this is video number 1, so move on to video 2.